In 1162, on the vast frozen steppe of Mongolia, a woman named Holun gave birth to a boy in a small felt tent with a blizzard raging outside. The boy came into the world clutching something in his right fist. When the midwife pried open his tiny fingers, she found a blood clot, dark, solid, the size of a knuckle. In Mongolian tradition, this was a sign. This child would be a warrior. His father, a minor tribal chief named Yesuge, named him Temujin after a Tatar enemy he had just defeated in battle. It was the kind of name you gave a boy. You expected to fight. When Temujin was 9 years old, his father took him to a neighboring tribe to find him a bride, as was the custom. On the way home, Yesuge stopped to eat with a group of Tartars. They poisoned his food. Yesuge made it home on horseback, but died 3 days later. Temujin was 9 years old, the eldest son of a dead chief, with no allies, no army, and no power. The other clans of his tribe did what powerful people always do when someone weaker no longer serves their purpose. They abandoned him. They took his family's horses, their livestock, and their food. They left Temujin, his mother Holun, and his younger siblings on the open steppe with nothing. No shelter beyond their tent, no food beyond what they could forage, and no protection against the brutal Mongolian winter. They expected the family to die. They did not die. Holun fed her children by digging roots from the frozen earth with her bare hands. Temujin hunted small animals with a crude bow. They survived the winter. They survived the next one. But survival alone was not enough for Temujin. As a teenager, he was captured by a rival clan and forced to wear a wooden slave collar around his neck. He escaped. He hid in a river for hours with only his head above the freezing water while his captors searched the banks around him. He got away. Every time the world tried to crush him, Temujin refused to stay crushed. And slowly, painfully, from nothing, he began to build. He made alliances. He rescued his kidnapped wife Borte from the Merkit tribe, not by begging, but by raising an army and taking her back. He defeated the Tatars who had poisoned his father, executing every male taller than a cart axle. He united the fractured, constantly warring tribes of Mongolia under a single banner, something no one had managed in the entire history of the steppe. In 1206, at a great assembly called a Kurultai, the Mongolian tribes gathered and gave Temujin a new name, Genghis Khan, Universal Ruler. He was approximately 44 years old. He had started with nothing. He now commanded the most formidable cavalry army the world had ever seen. And he was just getting started. What followed over the next 20 years was a campaign of conquest so vast and so fast that historians still struggle to fully explain how it was possible. The Mongol army moved at speeds that no other military force of the era could match. Every soldier had multiple horses, sometimes 5, sometimes more, and they switched between them constantly, allowing the army to cover ground that would have taken other armies weeks in a matter of days. They had no supply lines. They lived off the land, off their horses' milk, off whatever they could take from conquered territories. They were not weighed down by the logistics that crippled every other medieval army. And Genghis Khan himself was a military genius, of a kind the ancient world had rarely produced. He used feigned retreats to draw enemy cavalry out of position, then turned and destroyed them. He used psychological warfare, sending messages to cities ahead of his advance. Surrender and be spared. Resist and be annihilated. Most cities surrendered. The ones that did not were made into examples so terrible that the story spread faster than the army itself. The city of Zhongdu, capital of the Jin dynasty in northern China, fell in 1215 after a siege. When the Mongols entered, the streets ran with blood for days. A Persian historian who visited the ruins a year later wrote that the ground was still white with human bones, and the air still smelled of death. The city of Samarkand, one of the greatest cities of the Islamic world, a center of art, science, and trade, fell in 1220. Its population was counted before and after. Before, several 100,000 people. After, the historians could not agree on a number because there were so few left to count. By the time Genghis Khan died in 1227, the exact cause unknown, possibly a fall from a horse, his empire covered 24 million square kilometers. To put that in perspective, the entire continent of North America is 24.7 million square kilometers. He had conquered an area almost the size of an entire continent in 20 years, with an army that began as a collection of nomadic herdsmen on the Mongolian steppe. The destruction he left behind was staggering. Historians estimate that the Mongol conquests killed between 40 and 60 million people, roughly 10% of the entire world population at the time. Some regions of Persia and Central Asia lost more than 75% of their population. The agricultural systems of entire civilizations were destroyed and took centuries to recover. And yet, the empire Genghis Khan built also created something that had never existed before: the Pax Mongolica, the Mongol Peace. For nearly a century after his death, the Mongol Empire connected China to Europe in a single political entity, allowing trade, ideas, and people to move freely across the largest landmass in the world. The Silk Road, the great trading route between East and West, had never been safer or more prosperous than under Mongol rule. Marco Polo traveled it. The Black Death also traveled it. But that is another story. Genghis Khan introduced the first international postal system. He established religious freedom across his empire at a time when Europe was burning people for heresy. He created a written legal code, the Yasa, that applied equally to conquerors and conquered. He promoted people based on merit, not birth. A revolutionary concept in a world run by hereditary aristocracies. The boy who was abandoned on the steppe with a wooden slave collar around his neck built a system of governance more sophisticated than almost anything the medieval world had seen. Today, genetic scientists estimate that approximately 16 million men alive on Earth today are direct descendants of Genghis Khan. Roughly 0.5% of the entire male population of the planet. He was born with a blood clot in his fist. The world tried to kill him before he could walk, and he spent his entire life proving that it had made a mistake.